Hello, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel, and today is the third day of my October drawing challenge, otherwise noted as Artober. If you want to watch the previous videos, I've linked them down below, and I'll be putting them all in a playlist. The way this works is I have 4 different prompt lists I want to work from, and I randomize them each day. The prompt lists are Drawtober, Witchtober, Swordtober, and my own prompt list. I have them credited in the first video, and I will try and link them down below if I remember. Then I randomize which day's prompt I'm going to get, so when I get a prompt list, if there's 31 on there, I randomize a number between 1 and 31, and whatever day that is the prompt that I get. Then I put forth the extra challenge to create a work with a limited palette via this set of palettes. I flip a coin for set A, which is heads, or set B, which is tails, and then I randomize another number between 1 and 35 to pick which palette within that set that I'm going to work with. Today I spun the wheel and it landed on Drawtober. I originally had footage of me spinning the wheel, but unfortunately my program for some reason glitches out and it ends up lagging and glitching, and it doesn't look great, so I took it out. Since Drawtober is set up with fewer prompts that span over several days, I'm just going to do the one meant for whatever 7 days that I'm on. I am still in their first set of days, which is labeled with the prompt carvings, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I then flipped a coin and got tails for set B in the palettes, and the random number I got was 4. So palette 4 in set B is this cute range of pastels, mostly with bluish greenish colors, if you like the deepest and the lightest shades, which I think is pretty fun. So let's see what we can come up with. I was aiming for this piece to look like one of those wood carving statues. Obviously the color scheme doesn't really lend itself to a wood-like vibe or texture, so I kinda made do with what I had. I love wolves, they're my favorite animal, but for the life of me, I cannot draw just their heads in isolation. It has to be attached to the body. So I decided in the end to make it a full body statue, which is ironically the opposite issue that I have with drawing people. Floating heads? Easy. Attaching them to the bodies? The hardest thing in the universe. For some reason, animals just come more naturally to me. And once again, not sorry for the pun. I sort of wish I had drawn it a bit further up on the page, but it was already going so well despite the fact that I was basically freehanding it. So I ignored the fact that it was a little too far down and uncentered, and it definitely does not bother me at all. I'm sorry if it bothers anyone. I was really happy with the line work though. I could have not used a ruler and it probably would have been fine, but I wanted those really crisp, straight edges to make it look like it was carved out, you know? I'm also in the habit of doing this for my bullet journal, which I will probably do a video series on in December to create my journal for the new year. The reason for that is I do bullet journals a little differently. Most people will create it as they go and make it all aesthetic and pretty and make cute Instagram photos of it, and I don't do that. I found from doing both one in 2019 and 2020 that I either don't have the time or I lose patience quickly if I have to play catch up with making a bunch of really pretty but functional pages. So for 2020's journal, I created a few months in advance and would create a new month every time I passed a month. But I fell off of it in April and didn't come back fully until mid-August. So yeah, that didn't work. So I'm going to try making like 6 months out, or maybe even the full year. But that would make every December video a journal video, and I kind of want to do videos of me creating the Christmas art gifts that I do for friends and family. And I want to do my Relearn With Me series that I mentioned in my very first video on the channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But we'll see. I have to do some planning in the midst of this 31-day challenge, which, by the way, the videos on this channel are not going to be daily. This is a coincidence that I kind of started my channel right at the start of October, basically. I'm going to do my straight 31 days if I can. I'm going to try really hard. But after that, I'm going to try to do, I think, Mondays and Fridays, maybe Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll see where I'm at then. Anyway, back to the piece that I'm actually making like right now. I love doing geometric lines and patterns, which if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know. And if you don't, you can go onto Twitter and find me at Feather Caitlin, because Heather Caitlin was taken, which, rude, by the way, but oh well. I was called Feather when I was a little kid, so I mean, I guess it's not that far off. Oh, and it's FeatherKaTelynn, which I want to point out because there are 1,000,001 ways to spell Caitlin, but I digress. The colored pencils that I'm using for today didn't quite have the colors that I needed, which is the problem I've run into with these palette prompts already. It'd be easier to do if these were all digital pieces, obviously, but I've been really wanting to stick to traditional lately, so maybe I'll ditch the palette prompts completely or create my own from what I have. Not sure yet. I think that'll help me create pieces that look how I want them to, as opposed to struggling to get the right tone and hue from 3 different pencils. So, people from the town just came by with a bucket thingy, tall tower bucket thingy. My brain was not coming up with the words, but their backing horn is going off and my dogs are going off and I'm in the middle of recording. It's great. It's really great. I've elected to keep recording because I don't know how long they're going to be here. So I'm using 3 brands of colored pencils. Daler and Rowney, which is just a simple pack from Walmart. They're alright, not great, but alright. Crayola, which is the classic colored pencil. And Faber-Castell pencils that I got only because I got myself the Jazzy Art box for Christmas last year. The Faber-Castells obviously work a lot better, layered better, were richer, and the Crayola, while didn't blend as well, still blended alright. The Daler and Rowney ones, though, honestly, they kinda suck. Kinda really suck. But I stuck with it until the end, and the final piece ended up looking like this. However, I wasn't satisfied with this and how it turned out, so I opened the picture inside and recreated it and used the palette with the colors I was supposed to replicate for today's piece. And then I kind of cheated and used a multiply layer to get some more variance in the colors, but I still used the same colors, so it still counts. They just ended up a little darker due to being on a multiply layer, but still, they were the same colors. I stand by that. In the end, it came out beautiful and exactly what I wanted, exactly how I envisioned it. So I think from here on out, I'm going to create a palette from my own supplies that matches the randomized palette as close as I can. I don't think I'm going to try and make it exact because then, issues arise with the blending and color matching and it ends with a result that I'm not wholly satisfied with. So yeah, the randomized palette will be a guideline instead. That's it for day 3 of my ARTOBER challenge. I had a lot of fun doing a sort of low detail wolf carving, and despite the traditional piece coming out a little differently than I intended, it was still super relaxing to draw in color, so I mean, I'll take it. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Bye bye!